me fucking scoot back a little so I guess so I don't punch the microphone. Hey, come listen to our podcast, yeah. Please listen, it's a hitch. If you don't listen to our podcast, yeah, then you are a bitch.
Welcome to Philosophy, a cozy little podcast with a bunch of cuss words with three friends sharing their opinions on movies that one has picked for this particular episode. I am today's substitute host, Lance. If you pay attention to our rotation, it should have been my co-host Cody's turn, but he wanted to take all the good movies for himself and was extremely selfish, so I was forced to switch the schedule around, because if I didn't, he would have left the podcast, and I don't know how to turn my computer on. So, that would have been a lot of trouble without Cody on board. With that said, Cody, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
And Owen, sir, how are you doing?
I'm good too.
Well, alrighty then. On June 11th, 1962, 4 men attempted to escape Alcatraz. Of those 4, 3 were successful. Of those 3, 2 wrote books. Of those 2, 1 got a movie deal. This is a podcast covering the making of that movie. That's not that at all. There's a spoken intro in Tropic Thunder where you hear Nick Nolte in his raspy voice. He goes, 4 men survived that day in Vietnam. Of those 4, 3 wrote books. Of those 3, 2 were published. Of those 2, 1 got a movie deal. This is the making of that movie. We are doing today a movie that is near and dear to my heart, Escape from Alcatraz. Now, I'll go around and ask everybody their first experiences. I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way, because I feel like I'm going to talk a lot in this episode. I'm going to let you guys have the floor. I watched this movie quite a bit growing up. I'd say probably the first 2 or 3 times I was bored as fuck watching this movie, because I just wasn't interested in these type of movies. I'm still like, oh, what's Power Rangers? And, you know, I would stay up. I probably said this before. In summertime, I would stay up late and hang out with my dad. He worked second shift. Well, during the school year, I would stay up late Friday nights, because obviously the weekend, and I would be able to hang out with my dad, and we'd always watch a movie. After we used to go, swimming at night in our swimming pool. We'd flash a flashlight down at the pool, and it would be all lit up. It was really cool, and the water would be great. We used to play basketball at night with no street light, just a big flashlight, no pants on. But we would do that, and we'd watch a movie, and I watched it a couple of times. Like, man, this is kind of boring. But eventually, I've talked about before, I got to that stage where I'm like, well, I really want to watch these movies with my dad and try to connect with him. Didn't realize that's what it was, but I kept hearing the stories about, my dad talking about his dad and how he wished he had more time with him, because his dad died when my dad was 17. And I was like, you know what, I should really, enjoy this time. So I started to start appreciating the movies he was making me watch. And a lot of them are like Clint Eastwood, Escape from Alcatraz, Outlaw Josie Wells, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
All good-ass movies.
Heartbreak Ridge, which is a very good movie. It's very solid.
Clint Eastwood, friend of the podcast.
For a friend of the podcast, meet my day. But yeah, so I've watched this quite a bit, and then when I realized it was a true story, and I was like, oh, really? And so I looked it up and did a lot of research. Research. I'm like, hey, let me go to Google or whatever, and just because every once in a while I'd get this wild hair up my ass. I'm like, I don't want to go down this Alcatraz rabbit hole and see this story. But yeah, that's my story. I watched it, and I started to have appreciation. This movie has a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. Critical score, audience score has 85%. Wow. So it's got a really good approval rating. Hey, Cody, it's 15,000. Piss off, dude.
No, Sean doing Owen Wilson impression. Wow.
That's Owen's job, though. Owen's over here. Owen missed it, though.
I don't think I've ever, seriously done one of those. Without being forced to.
Have I forced you to do it?
Yeah. You've held me down. It's been like, do it.
Do it, you piece of
Do the funny car man voice. Now.
The car man. Do that fucking race car now.
Do it. Sacred chow.
Say good chow. Say it, you little piece of shit.
I guess for the rest of the episode, we're gonna have to we'll call Cody Wolf. Because the Wolf's the one looking for a new partner.
Some
yes.
He wants to fuck Clint Eastwood.
Wolf just wanted some of Clint Eastwood.
Oh my god. Anyway, I'll go to Cody. Cody, what?
He's like, I'm looking for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And afterwards, I'm gonna have some heartbreak on the ridge.
That's nice, Dirty Harry. Now I see why they call you Dirty Harry.
Let me see the outlaw Josie Wells in your pants. Oh my god, Cody, don't cut any of that out. So Cody, what is your experience with this movie and or anything to do with the prison Alcatraz? Like, you had to do like some kind of research, you heard about it or whatever,
or you went there.
I was sentenced there.
Yeah.
So I mean, Alcatraz I'd heard of before, and I just done my own kind of like research into it here and there, but never anything thorough. As far as this movie goes, my first experience of it was watching it for the first time at 5 a.m. this morning. So.
Oh, good deal. Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know if it was. I mean, I figured that a couple of these movies I picked would be Cody's like a first time, but you know, sometimes Cody surprises me. I don't know.
I think this is only like the fourth Clint Eastwood movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
What are the other three?
Gran Torino, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and what was that one he did in the 90s where he's like an old outlaw, but he had kind of settled down. Unforgiven, yeah.
That's a great fucking movie. Cody never did watch. I let him borrow it because he was playing Red Dead Redemption at the time. Yeah. Outlaw Josie Wells. I don't think he ever watched it though.
Yeah, that movie's good too.
Oh, it's
probably the best movie where the protagonist, like, I don't know.
The protagonist is a Confederate.
Yeah. Well, it's probably the one that easily most justifies why he is.
But the thing is, in that movie, I mean, this is the Outlaw Josie Wells podcast. He's not a Confederate soldier.
Yeah, he's not like fighting.
He's just a farmer in Missouri that gets attacked.
Yeah, he's just like a partisan or something.
By shitty ass
Redlegs.
Redlegs, which is the Union soldiers. They
from Kansas.
I think it's implied that they rape his wife. You don't know for sure, but they kill his wife, kill his kid, and they burn him up in the house. And he has to bury them.
And yeah, that was like kind of the thing that was going on back then in that area, Kansas, Missouri. Like, both sides were pretty like violent and militant, and basically just burning down each other's farms and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. All right, we'll get to Owen real quick. Owen, sir, what was your experience at all with the subject of Alcatraz or this movie, or both?
I mean, I know about Alcatraz. I think everybody does. I know Al Capone went there.
The original Scarface.
Yeah, the original Carface.
He died of syphilis, too.
So, yeah, I knew about Alcatraz. That was basically it. My first exposure was just watching it when Lance recommended for the podcast.
Oh, sweet. Now, this movie, Escape from Alcatraz, came out on June 22nd, 1979. It had a budget of $8 million, made a box office of $43 million. Damn. It was directed by Don Siegel and produced by him as well. And
what else has he done? Because I have not.
Okay, well, he has done. This is the fifth and final collaboration between Don Siegel and Clint Eastwood, following Coogan's Bluff that came out in '68, Two Mules for Sister Sarah came out in 1970, The Beguiled in 1971, and Dirty Harry in 1971.
Oh, okay. You bet there's two mules for Sarah.
Oh, God. Donkey show. So, this movie is based on the 1962 escape of Alcatraz. Now, Alcatraz, unfortunately for this thing, and the funny thing is about this prison, it had like a lot of escapes. 36 prisoners, I read this earlier, and Owen can say I'm not even looking at it, at anything. 36 prisoners tried to escape on 14 different attempts.
Yeah.
23 of them were recaptured. 6 were shot and killed. 2 were drowned and their bodies recovered. And 5 were missing, presumed drowned. There's 2 guys that have disappeared, and that happened in an escape in 1937. And the other 3 are the 3 from this prison escape from 1962. Now, they do a pretty good job, I'd say, of keeping up with the events. Now I've watched a couple like YouTube ripped documentaries that have been on television
from
before.
like the History Channel and stuff.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those yesterday, and how do I put this? They've got Morris, which is Clint Eastwood, and the Anglin brothers, which are the two guys with dark hair. They got them pretty accurate, I'd say, for what they are. Morris was, a bank robber who was known to escape from a lot of prisons. He actually escaped from Louisiana State Penitentiary, which was called the Alcatraz of the South at the time. And he also escaped from Atlanta, and that's where he actually had interaction with the Anglin brothers before. Morris had an IQ level reported at 133, which 132 is Mensa.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker is like top 2 percentile of like the nation. He's incredible. And then, of course, the Anglin brothers were guys. They were, let me make sure I get this thing right here, because I've heard from a couple sources the kids. The Anglin brothers they were born into a family of 13 children. And their family was like seasonal farm workers, so they'd move around different areas. And their family migrated as far as north. The thing was, the boys, these two guys, were skilled swimmers that swam.
Swam.
Yes, they swam in the frigid waters of Lake Michigan as the ice still floated on the surface in the winter season and stuff like that. So these guys were great swimmers.
Yeah.
So it kind of leads into like the ending of the movie.
It is weird that like they bring up that like it's impossible to swim in the San Francisco Bay from like Alcatraz to San Francisco, but I've heard like a lot of like anecdotal stories of like swimmers being like, "Oh no, it's pretty easy."
Yeah, these are guys also like talking about like swimmers though. I'll let Cody just jump in. I'm not trying to like cut you off or anything too. I saw there Unsolved Mysteries did an episode in like '87 that I watched on YouTube where they had somebody go swim. He was an Olympic, skilled swimmer, and they had 3 other people try to do it on a raft, and they didn't make it, but he made it, and he said his body was numb, he had hypothermia and all that stuff.
Like, fuck.
He's like, damn it.
I also heard there's sharks in the water.
Yeah, there isn't. They're not man-eating sharks. What? That's a lie that they actually put out to scare the prisoners, because there's no way you can survive. The thing is, though, you have these are prisoners that aren't getting the exercise it would take to make it that far, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So, the fourth guy was a guy named Alan West. In this movie, he is renamed Charlie Butts. Yeah, I don't understand why they changed his name for the movie.
For that one line where he's like, Charlie's Butts.
Yeah, no, that guy lies. He's like, I'm Al Pacino. Not Al Pacino, Al Capone, damn it.
I'm Al
Pacino. But he was imprisoned a lot and stuff like that, too. He was a car thief like he was in the movie. But in the movie, they portray him as kind of like a simpleton.
Yeah.
But in real life, a lot of people have collaborated that he was the one that actually came up with a lot of the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank Morris is a genius, but he contributed to the plan. But, who knows?
Did he die, like, recently, or was he, like...
He died... No, Alan West died December 21st, 1978. And he didn't make it. The thing was that he made it further, though, than in the movie stated.
Yeah.
Which I'll get to. What happened was he actually got there. There was still a half... Like, they left him a raft... kind of that was half constructed, because it took him forever. He had put that contact cement like he did in the movie.
Yeah.
To my gate keeps slipping, and he's like, well, just put contact cement where it hardened too much or something like that.
Gorilla glue that shit, dude.
Yeah, I know. Gorilla glue. What if that shit was back there? That'd be fucking awesome. Hey, we need some gorilla glue in here. Yeah, sure, no problem. Try to make sure I got the. But yeah, so he didn't even try to do it. So there's no way he could make it, because when he looked out, he said he didn't see anything floating. He didn't see them swimming. Didn't see the raft. Nothing. He assumed they didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was pressured by the FBI, and he eventually spelled out all the secrets, what they did. And a lot of it in the movie is, I would say, kind of accurately put together. Like, they had saw blades instead of, like, a fingernail clipper that they did. They were discarded saw blades that they had found behind the prison wall, because Alan West was a part of cleanup duty and all that stuff. All right, Cody, you haven't said a word, man. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just listening.
Let's see here. Make sure I have that the funny thing was going through the movie, I'll do a quick overview of the movie. The movie is Frank Morris getting indoctrinated into this prison. He has, I guess you could describe him. He's not really a queen, but he's a sodomist.
He's the prison rapist.
He's a prison rapist.
let's just go out and say it, okay?
He's the prison rapist.
He's the prison rapist.
But you have small things. Before I get to that, he gets taken to the. And I thought it was funny because I was joking with my girlfriend.
The
you
opening
see Clint
scene
naked.
Oh yeah, that was funny. You get to see his cock a little.
I know. I told her, I was like, I bet that they were doing it just to show his ass off. Like, who
like,
wants to pay for this?
I was like, enhance.
But what I assumed was they brought him in there like that. He's taking nothing in there. They search his body. You're getting thrown into the cell. You're given clothes that we're giving you.
Yeah.
You brought nothing from the outside world in. Welcome to Alcatraz. And then
the
awesomely
thunder
timed
goes.
fake thunder.
The whole opening scene I really liked. The whole sequence where he's being transported on the boat and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I love this movie. So what?
Yeah,
anything you like about it, I'm probably gonna agree with you.
I don't know. It was rainy and that was cool. There's some things in movies where it's just hard to explain why you like it, and I like the opening sequence in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. Cody, you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a serviceable opening sequence. I found it. I mean, it's definitely interesting. All the different forms of transportation that have to be used to even get them out to Alcatraz.
Yeah, because this was the end all be all for prisons at the time. Like from what people say, they, like the Al Capone days. Like he was somebody that people actually rooted for against the police because he looked like such a cool bad guy.
Yeah.
And, they said, well, like, we're going to put them in a prison that, that can make the public feel safe. And it started becoming that. And of course, everybody felt like, well, it was inescapable. Of course, we'll see at the end of the movie.
I wish that Al Capone looked fucking stupid.
Yeah, he did. You don't think he looks as cool as you would think he would.
My favorite looking gangster is Bugsy Siegel. He looks pretty dope.
I have no idea who that is, to be honest.
He's just like Jewish mafioso. But he looked pretty dope.
He wore a yarmulke?
Yeah, he wore a yarmulke, and he had the little the little towel thing that they have.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, "Oi, they."
He carried around like a little baby Torah.
Yeah,
you know how older people carry like the New Testament little tiny Bible in their shirt pocket. He carries a little Torah that he rolls out. Like, I'm just curious. You guys, did y'all see a picture of Frank Morris, the real life prisoner?
Yeah, they're on the Wikipedia page for this.
Does he not look like Clint Eastwood?
He kind of does.
No, I haven't seen it, but I'll look it up right now.
We'll beam you into it. Yeah, I don't know. He just kind of looks like normal, like late 50s man.
Yeah, I think there's like an uncanny resemblance.
It's uncanny.
Uncanny. But he gets taken to the warden. The warden's a complete dickhole, but he's not an historically accurate.
That's not the warden. That was
because he mentioned Johnson and Blackwell, my previous predecessors. Well, Blackwell was the last warden before Alcatraz was closed down.
Oh, okay.
So it's a fictional thing.
Yeah, you can tell they dramatized him just to make us root for the escape even more.
You root for all the prisoners except for like Wolf.
Yeah, yeah. This movie does a pretty good job about making you feel sympathetic for the prisoners.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just what they do. Like, you got to have a good guy, bad guy. That simple movie logic.
Yeah.
For this, Cody, did you look at the picture yet?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, he looks similar to Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Clit.
But
yeah, baby.
Yeah, the warden is he's pretty comically evil to like the extent where he's straight up in his opening like introduction scene, he's just like toying with a bird that's like trying to get out of a cage.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the warden from The Longest Yard. Like,
yeah, he does.
He's just like a dickhead for no reason.
And he does a lot of fucked up shit in the movie that you're kind of like.
He's like, stop painting pictures of me.
Yeah, that always pissed me off. And we'll get into it.
It's a really good ass painting too. Like if someone painted that of me, I'd be like, damn, it's really good. Can I have this?
And I'm sure you guys have watched it. Doc, the one that is the painter, he's the old guy in the first Home Alone movie that carries a shovel that saves Kevin at the end.
Oh yeah,
the one with the beard that's like. They think he's like Kevin's scared of him the whole movie. You just see him kind of shoveling snow off the sidewalk.
Okay, yeah.
But that's Doc. But yeah, so it's funny because he keeps like he's having a conversation with Frank Morse, which is Clint Eastwood's character. You notice that Clint Eastwood has stolen a pair of fingernail clippers. He had 2 in the ashtray.
Yeah.
And then the guy goes back. It's only got 1, but you see they had to zoom in on the thing where it says his IQ is superior, so he knows.
Wait, was it in that scene where he steals the fingernail clippers?
Yes, it was.
I did not pick up on that.
We'll see, because I had to show it to Brittany. I threw it down. Okay, he throws it into the ashtray. There's 2 things of fingernail clippers in it.
Yeah.
And then he keeps talking and talking, and then Clint Eastwood turns and walks away, and he goes to pick back up the thing, and there's only 1 in the ashtray, but he doesn't pay attention to it.
This says on the paper, IQ, super smart.
Super smart, brainiac.
Super big brain.
And they bring Clint Eastwood's character, Frank Morse, into the library to deliver books. That's where he meets English, the kind of elder statesman, African-American prisoner. That dude played in a lot of other stuff. He actually played in an episode of one of my favorite 80s and 90s dramas, In the Heat of the Night. And it's a really sad episode. I think it's almost like a bookend because he plays a prisoner on death row, and then they execute him on that episode too. So it's like, oh man, this what happened in English. But yeah, he's got like a real tragic backstory. He killed 2 white guys in self-defense in a bar in Alabama, and they gave him 2 99-year back-to-back sentences. So it's pretty fucked up.
Is he a real character?
No, I don't think he's a real character.
Damn it.
Put together. What's funny is, the first guy that Clint Eastwood goes to deliver a book to, he goes, "Where's English? Did they give his own?" That guy. That's a young Danny Glover. I had no idea. Never knew it the whole time. I always saw him in the credits. I think this was one of his first film credits. Was Danny Glover, the guy from Lethal Weapon? Yeah. I'm too old for this shit. That guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew who I was talking about.
Yeah, I do.
He goes, "Yeah, I'm not interested." But yeah, but then you start noticing it's not very noticeable, but it's very heavily laid on that all the bulls are fucking dicks.
Yeah.
All of them. They're all like, "'Cause you're stupid," all that other shit.
'Cause you're stupid.
But the Clint Eastwood has a run-in with Wolf, which is the prison rapist. "I'm looking for a new partner." I crack up every fucking time that scene happens.
Looking for a new sexual partner to love and share my feelings with.
I have leather for us to wear together. I was hoping that we could do this.
I'm just looking for a companion to spend these lonesome nights with.
And then Clint Eastwood goes, "Well, why don't you show me what you got?"
And he kisses him on the mouth.
Movie over, the end.
The end.
He's like, maybe Alcatraz isn't so bad.
But yeah, it's just funny, Clint Eastwood meets Lipness, which is an older, I would say, Italian.
Yeah, because he says like capiche and stuff.
Oh, okay. Who has a pet mouse, which is kind of like a cute little Hollywood trope. I like the mouse. I don't really care. I know
it's just like the Green Mile.
It is. But what's funny is when he at the end he takes a mouse with him. I'm like, that mouse is going to drown.
Yeah.
That mouse is probably dead.
We found this dead mouse here on the shore.
You idiot! That has nothing to do with them. Put it in the frying pan and save it for later.
Our prisoners need something to eat.
We need some jerky.
But just kind of throughout, like the whole movie, just kind of sets up this prison thing. It's supposed to go over the course of, I believe, like 2 years, because that's when Frank Morse was delivered to the prison. In 1960, and then the escape is 1962. The Anglin brothers show up. Charlie Butts shows up, which is supposed to be the Alan West.
Charlie Chaplin shows up.
Charlie Chaplin, Lewis and Costello show up with the Wolfman.
He does like slapstick bits.
But yeah, just throughout the movie, it just kind of sets up. Clint Eastwood gets punished. He gets thrown in the hole, which is a completely blacked out cell locked behind almost like a safe door. Almost.
And they spray him with some water.
Yeah, it's like, he gets sprayed and shit like that. And you just see a lot of shit, but there's a lot of setup in the movie. Clint Eastwood comes up with a plan to escape, and they start, stealing utensils and stuff like that. Like, he makes a shimmy that you can dig out of from the nail file off a nail clipper, welded onto the end of a spoon, which is pretty ingenious.
Yeah.
And from what I had watched, there are still a lot of cells on one end of Alcatraz that are extremely strong in the concrete. It's still the lower end is where a lot of it was getting weaker, but nobody was trying to do what they were doing, which was just digging out that little part.
Did they close Alcatraz because of these escapes?
I think this was like close to the end event. Because it was getting expensive to run and was getting quickly outdated.
Yeah.
And it served its purpose. Like, you had other prisons that were more effective. They said something along the line, it cost more to house a prisoner at Alcatraz than it would to house them at a 5-star hotel in New York City at that point. For, 1963 or whatever, when it got closed down. But yeah, you just go through it, like this whole movie. It's just kind of like set up. There's very little music in it. There's a couple ominous
it's
tones.
like almost like a horror movie soundtrack.
It is.
That's one of the things that really stood out to me about the score in this movie.
What you think about it's prison, so it is kind of like a horror movie. You know,
it's like real suspenseful.
Yeah,
scary.
Brittany, like I said, she had never watched this before, and I'd kind of told her a little bit of the back, so I already showed her that scene that we laugh at. And then, but she was into the movie. She wanted to see if they escaped.
And by the scene, we mean the scene where the little mouse eats the spaghetti.
Yeah,
that's the funniest part of the movie. I do like that one part where he's like has the accordion, and then like the character English gives him
a magazine that Ebony.
He's like he plays like a sour note.
Yeah, it shows. And the funny thing is, the motor that they used for the drill bit was a fan. In real life, it was off a vacuum cleaner motor that they used for it. And when they got up there, that spot where they were up there taking the bars down to get up through the ceiling thing, whatever the hell that's called, what happened was they were part of the cleanup crew, and Alan West was sweeping the floor, and he was ingenious about this. He'd sweep the floor onto the actual prison floor, and that prison was always clean.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, hey, guys, why don't I just hang up some blankets across these bars so none of the dust will come out there while I get cleaned up? Those blankets stayed up there hidden so they could do their work for like 6 weeks in real life. There's a lot of stuff that was going on. There's claims that family members were paying off some of the guards to let them have some more time or whatever. There's a lot of stuff, man, that goes on to it. Hopefully I can try to do it justice on this podcast. But they got, like I said, he sets it up. You meet Doc, the guy who's the painter, a little sweet old guy.
Yeah.
He gets his privileges taken away because he was painting the warden in a very flattering picture. He wasn't making fun of him. He was like, hey, kick me here.
Yeah, I was expecting him to turn around and him, like, I don't know, have like a dick in his mouth or something. Just something like that made him look like an idiot, but it was just like a picture, like a normal portrait, just where he's smiling. God. It even looked like he liked it at first.
It did.
Like, I'm sorry. Because, like the reaction shot of the warden, he was like smiling at it too. He's like, dude, this is really good.
Unfortunately for Doc, he gets his his painting privileges eliminated, not suspended, eliminated. So he's really depressed. And, I like this part in the movie. When you first see him, he's painting a picture of himself and he has a flower in his pocket. And Eastwood asks him, what's the flower for? He goes, that's what's inside, what they can't lock up, And right before they have that scene where, they go down to the workshop, which is where a lot of the prisoners go to make 15 cents an hour. Woohoo! Yeah. Doc is extremely...
doesn't pay.
Yeah. It's a job. Doc is really upset, and he puts on his overalls, but he has something in his pocket, and he grabs it, and he puts it into Morris's, which is Clint Eastwood's, overalls. So he goes over there, gets a hatchet because he's building a table, and then calls the guard over, and then fucking cuts his fingers off. Yeah. Just because I guess he feels like he has nothing else to live for.
It kind of makes it think that he's gonna go over there, like he's gonna like hatchet the shit out of one of the COs.
Yes.
They fake you out.
I'm going to read this to you real quick. The incident in which Doc chops off several fingers with a hatchet was based on an actual incident that took place in 1937. Inmate Rufe?
Let me see.
R-U-F-E?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm not making that up. Rafe Percival, maddened by what was then a policy of strict silence at all times, cut off 4 fingers with a hatchet to try to get transferred off Alcatraz. So they took it from an event to put it into the story.
Yeah.
But it's real sad. You don't see Doc anymore, and then Clint Eastwood reaches down in his pocket and he has that flower. And that's what that symbolizes. And it's like, damn. And then later on, he puts the flower at the dinner table, lunch table, whatever. The warden comes over. Because it's a thing for Doc. Like, Doc and Litmus had been there a long time. You felt there was kind of like a kinship between them, especially. They put the flower out, and the warden comes up. This is against regulations. Grabs the flower, and like a complete asshole rips the flower up. And then Litmus comes up and then drops dead of a heart attack because he's so upset.
And then the warden eats the flower for some reason.
And then he eats the mouse.
And then he eats Litmus.
He's like, no.
His jaw just unhinges and he eats him like a snake.
He looks at all the prisoners. All right, eat up, boys. None of this goes to waste.
You're either gonna eat your dinner or you're gonna sit here all night.
Your food privileges have been revoked.
Trying to think, is there anything else right here?
What does Clint Eastwood say at the beginning of the movie? Does he when he asks for his pasta, does he respond with, "Do you see any pasta here?"
Oh, right before he goes, he asks Litmus, he goes, "Do we have any forks?" He goes, "Do you see any?"
Yeah.
And this one, Litmus is like, "Hey, Frisch, you gonna eat your pasta?" He goes, "Do you see any?" Just trying to be a smart ass back to him. Which that's how he gets him back. He responds to English in a certain way, and English smiles, and they start a kinship, Because you didn't really have much time to be buddies up here in prison.
So we're going to talk about the wolf subplot. I know he mentioned that he's the resident rapist.
Yeah, there's a thing
resident rapist 4.
Yeah, he tries to hit on Clint Eastwood, gets his ass kicked in the shower, shows up a little later.
Why didn't the COs detain them when they were fighting in the shower?
They were too busy jerking it.
Yeah, watching them shower. I just have a feeling that a lot of these COs were just like complete dickheads. Like, oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah, probably.
They just don't fucking care unless it's like, out in the open when they have to do something about it.
Maybe Wolf will make Morris eat his ass.
Awesome. Eat that ass, boy.
High five, bro.
Oh, God.
I got a nice wolf pie for you right here.
Oh, Jesus. It was kind of cool, like it was the scene with Doc when he's talking to him and the wolf was coming up behind him with a shimmy.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Wolf's coming behind you." He goes, "Got his hand cupped?" He goes, "Yeah." "Which one?" "The right." And he turns around. It's really cool how he does it.
Yeah.
But then, Wolf, that's when Wolf, he gets thrown in the hole. But Clint Eastwood's character's thrown in the hole too, even though he was just defending himself. Because like I said, all the prisoners are the COs are dickheads, except for like one old man who seems like, I don't know, kind of like an old grandpa.
Yeah, he's like
"I'm sorry, Doc."
Sorry. But even then, he's not like that sympathetic, really.
Oh, he's just doing his job.
When Capone was here. Those were the good old days. Back when we could beat prisoners without mercy and without reason.
But, this movie, like I said, and then you see Wolf again. He comes out and tries to do it again, tries to stick him. But somebody has been carrying the shimmy for him. Like, you see it in, like, the standard prison stuff. Yeah. Like when you see it on a show, somebody has a shimmy that's given to him or whatever. But then English saves Eastwood's character. This is the day before they escape, or the afternoon before they escape, because they're escaping that night. He goes, "Where you going, Wolfie?" I liked English a lot in this movie. Let's see here. Let's see the big, because a lot of this movie is kind of like a prodding movie, kind of setting up like, are they going to escape or not?
Yeah, that was something I wanted to mention. The movie is pretty good all around, but they're like, I guess about 3/4 of the way through, it really just kind of goes back and forth between like, oh, here's something they do during the day and they get a small piece, and then you go back to like at night when a small piece is done. And I understand why they're doing that. Obviously they're not breaking out and doing everything in one fell swoop, but it does kind of, I think it slows down a little bit at that point, and it becomes a little bit uninteresting before it picks back up before the final escape.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, especially the first time. I probably felt that way first couple times I watched it. I just find it interesting because, like I said, I know they dramatize a lot of this stuff, and like everything's Clint Eastwood's character's idea when it probably wasn't. But that's just what it is. Other guys, I think they're all pretty good actors. I don't think anybody was really like a bad actor in this movie, to be quite honest with you. In my opinion.
No, I think this is a very good cast overall.
Yeah, it's just overall a pretty solid movie, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really love the movie. Yeah. I'm not like trying to like, yeah, this is the greatest movie of all time, but it really is. Like, I could show it to anybody, and especially somebody that's like not interested in older movies, like my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she actually liked it. I don't think she's gonna say this like, oh, it's one of her favorite movies, but she was into it the whole fucking movie. And this is almost a 2-hour-long movie, so that's a lot to ask for like a newbie to watch. But yeah, set up the whole thing. They get set up to leave. The cool thing about how they set it up, they make fake heads out of paper mache. Yeah. They paint up to kind of resemble the best they can. I mean, it's kind of rudimentary.
There was one shot where I was like, dude, you can tell that's so fake.
Is that the one where he's got the mirror up to him and he pulls it over to the dummy?
No, not that one. I think there was like one scene towards the end where like one of the other characters that wasn't Clint Eastwood had like the mannequin head in their bed, and you could tell it was just like this like poorly made paper mache head.
Yeah, I remember that now. What's funny is there's a fake out scene in this movie, and I noticed this stuff. Whoops, where it's the first night Eastwood's character goes up after he gets through. He gets done making his hole and all that stuff like that. He puts the head there. Well, you see the guard come over there and he's talking to Charlie Butts, which is Eastwood's neighbor, and he's like, "Boris been asleep this whole night?" He goes, "Yeah, he just wasn't feeling good." He's like, "He hadn't moved." And he goes down, and you look at it, you see the dummy's head, and you can see the hair's like really thin. Yeah. Like you can see into the scalp, and then it goes Morris, and the Clint Eastwood goes, "Yeah." And it's like, oh, that's a fake out right there. That's kind of cheap, but I understand why they did it.
Yeah, I could tell on that close up that it was a mannequin, so that's like
I was wondering if either one of you noticed that, because I thought the same thing. I was like, that's obviously the mannequin's head before they cut to Eastwood like lifting his head up.
Yeah. That shit was hilarious, but I'm like, you know what? It's cool, whatever.
Maybe the part when like I said, they're gathering little by little like the things they need and doing things to build up to the escape. There was that one
like jerking off.
Yeah. To the thought of Wolf. There's that one scene where they're in the shop, the carpenter shop, and he sees he needs the wedge or whatever, and he walks through the metal detector, and he's like, why would I show you the wedge if I was trying to hide it or whatever? It's like, oh well, that didn't work out for him, and then he's like hiding it in the heel of his shoe. He's hiding the second one. I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
James Bond, baby. That shit was pretty good. Did you think that was kind of cheap? Did you like that?
No, I liked it. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty clever. Like, obviously show him one hand while disguising the other sort of situation.
Because you're stupid.
You're such a moron, Morris.
Because you're stupid. Smart like me.
Smart like me.
What's really funny is when they're leaving the musical rehearsal, I guess you could call it, for the prisoners. When he steals that fan, he puts it in his accordion case. They walk through it. He goes, "Where y'all going with those cases? Let me look." And he goes, "Yeah, look at mine." He goes, "No, let me look at Butts," or what? He doesn't say Butts. "Let me look at yours." So he gets away with it, even like just outsmarting them. Like, okay, if I offer, yeah, go ahead. If I volunteer, they're not gonna look at mine.
Yeah. But what if they did? Da, 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 da.
I know. There's a lot of chances you're just like, man, this dude would be so fucked if it didn't go this way. Of course, like you said, when they're like, "What are our chances if we do this?" He goes, "Slim." So they all knew what went into it. Yeah, they didn't want to spend 15 to 20 years in Alcatraz. So,
I like how you didn't pick up on that.
What'd you say?
You said slim, and I said shady.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I was like scratching my scalp. I'm like, ooh, not much hair there, baby.
Do you think that Shawshank Redemption was inspired by this movie? The story written by Stevens.
Yeah, but I think there's a shit ton of like prison escapes that he could have got.
Was Shawshank after this movie?
Yeah, dude. Well, this movie is based off real events from '62.
Right, but the movie came out in what, 79?
9. Yeah, when was Shawshank written? Not written. Yeah, I'll let Cody look that up. He's a Stephen King guy. Sorry.
And I'm gonna go down to Shawshank. Ooh.
There's a clip.
He climbed through the poop in the pee.
There's a. Cody will know the villain's name. And Robot Chicken, they do a spoof of Shawshank Redemption.
And it's like the Joker.
It's the Joker. I think it's Martian Manhunter's the Morgan Freeman character. Cody, is that it?
Yeah.
And he sounds like Morgan Freeman when the Joker's actually like Mark Hamill playing his Joker voice. And they do that little bit. He goes, "I'm going to need a large size poster of Phyllis Diller." He goes, "That may take some time." And then the Joker goes, "Time's the one thing I've got." Well, that and dementia.
So the novella Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption was written, or it was published in 1982. So.
Oh, so it was after the movie and everything too.
Yeah, the movie for it, the movie of Shawshank came out in '94, which is way later than I thought. I thought it was like a early '80s or late '70s movie, but I was wrong.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure there's like plenty of prison escapes Stephen King was influenced by to do. I don't think it was just this one, but I'm sure it played a little bit of a hand into it because, you know,
he's inspired by "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
What about Stir Crazy with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor?
Hey, that movie's actually pretty good.
I love Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder.
Dude, that movie, yeah, there's a couple scenes in that movie that are like, holy shit, they got away with that. It's a good movie, though. But yeah, this movie just kind of sets up, you know, they have a lot of close calls when they're getting the supplies and getting away with stuff. But what's ingenious, though, is there's a little vent that's really a little mesh gate in the concrete wall at the bottom, and that's what they're chipping away at. They chip away to a certain extent, they pull out the mesh, and then they make the hole big enough that they can crawl through. Well, to disguise it, and in the movie, it's obviously movie quality, but they did the same thing in real life. They made a paper mache, a fake gate that they painted up to look like the wall that they pushed in there so it would disguise and keep nobody from suspecting. Of course, the warden's always been a complete asshole in this whole movie. He tells the CEO, he goes, "I want him moved Tuesday morning," which is kind of weird.
Store.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird that he said like Tuesday morning. I'm like, well, they leave Tuesday night. Is he talking about? I don't know. It's just kind of like a little bit of kind of weird plot thing.
Yeah, it's just to add some tension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
then conveniently, 2 minutes later, they find out that their wolf comes up to him and is like, you know, "I've got something for you. It's long and cylindrical
and full of semen."
I like how he was gonna go for a word, like, "Oh, I gotta make this kind of funny." He goes, "No, semen."
Full of hot cum.
So we get to the night escape. For some reason, Charlie, he's just bawling his eyes out. I don't know if it's because he's scared. He doesn't want to do it.
He fucked up.
That was my read on it, was that he was just so, I think he was so afraid that something would go wrong or that they would get caught that he just froze.
No, I think what happened was wasn't he trying to get his thing open?
No.
Well, he was after he was crying though, because
okay.
he was like, Charlie. He goes, "All right, I'll be out there. I'll beat you guys up there." And then the CEO walks by and he's just laying in his bed crying his eyes out because I guess he's just petrified.
He was doing like loud, ugly crying too, like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, and he had like 2 streams going down one of his eyes too. It's like one out each duct, like incredible crying. Then he gets down there and he kicks the fucking hole open. But see, what happened was, in real life, Alan West's character, there was I can't remember how all this works out. I just know for a fact he had the same problem with the quick drying cement that he used. It's not supposed to be as strong as like real cement or, you know, super glue or whatever, but just something to hold it in place. And that there was a steel bar where his hole was that he didn't realize. It was reinforced, kind of like a prison bar.
Yeah.
Going through the wall. And like I said, he tried to escape. It just didn't work out. And they tried for a couple minutes to help him get out, and they just had to go. Sorry, every man for himself at this point. But the movie shows that, they get up there. Even Eastwood looks down and he goes, "Butts." It's like, God damn it, butts. It's like, they're everywhere, butts.
He's like, God damn it, I need some butts.
By the way, Clint Eastwood has grabbed this mouse, by the way, and I don't think the mouse survives because they go swimming later on. No, he puts the mouse. I thought he put the mouse in like his coat pocket up here. No, he puts them in his pocket, like you would your wallet,
his pant pocket.
Yeah, I'm like, oh God, dude.
I was like, you're coming with me, little fella.
And we're gonna come together. Hopefully, you don't see it, but hopefully he just lets the mouse outside. Of course, the mouse would die anyway. A hawk would get it. I'm thinking too much about the mouse. He's not supposed to be a huge plot point.
Oh, speaking of that, before I forget, there was a hawk in my office at work the other day.
Really?
Yeah. So, there's only a couple of us that work in that office, but usually the other tech gets there before I do. And he said he's older, so he has trouble hearing and stuff. But I still don't understand how he didn't know that this happened. But he said when he walked in the door, he thought he felt something fly by his head and just didn't think anything of it. And then I got to work, and there's a little hallway that leads to our bathroom. And the lights were off in the hallway because no one had been down there yet. So I turned the light on, and I'm walking down, and all of a sudden this hawk comes off the bookshelf and starts flapping around and everything. And I freak the hell out, and I run out of that hallway. And eventually
caught it.
I had to... I went back. I opened the door. I propped the office door open, and I went back in with my jacket over my head and my arms because I didn't want the damn thing to come down and claw me or anything. And I basically scared it, and it flew at me, and I ran back in the office and hit the deck while it flew around, and then finally flew out the door. But I actually have pictures of the hawk sitting on the shelf. I'll send to y'all later.
Quick question I have to ask: did this hawk shit everywhere?
No, it didn't. Surprisingly.
That literally sounds like a comedy bit from I don't know,
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor in a movie,
some shitty comedy movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's incredible though. Did you say hawk? Where's the animal? The Road Warriors. Owen, don't shake your head, you bastard. Anyway, getting back to the thing, it shows that they're going to escape, and the thing is, in the movie they get down to they actually climb over 2 fences after they get down the wall.
They touch the barbed wire, dude.
I know. Of course, at that point they're just fuck it, we're almost there,
Yeah.
And they go up there and they shows that they're blowing up the raft. They had something else to blow up the raft in real life. They had brought something with them to help to blow it up real quick, so it wasn't them going
all looking into each other's eyes while they do it.
Yeah, I know. That's such a Hollywood moment right here, that spot.
Holding hands.
And you know what threw me off is they have a raft. So I thought it was an actual raft, but it looked like
it's just a tube.
Yeah, just a big tube that they were swimming on. And I'm willing to bet that guy in the middle didn't survive. He probably let go at some point and drowned.
Well, here's the thing.
They also had life vests.
But the thing is, they made this raft and the life vest out of 40 or 50 rain jackets that they had somehow got and stolen at multiple times. Like I said, this whole escape was planned and started working out. They worked on it for 6 months. It wasn't just a quick thing, obviously, but it was 6 months they were able to do this in real life. And they actually did have the painted up fake little gates to make it look like the old vent they dug up. They had fake heads put in the bed so people would think somebody was still there until the morning. They actually did have a vacuum cleaner motor to help them as a tool, and all the stuff that they did in the movie. It's a quick summary of what they actually did in real life. It's pretty incredible. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, you see them swimming away. They actually get... I thought it was just everybody went down to where they had jumped off to swim, but actually it was at Angel Island where all the people were flying the helicopters. They had just assumed that they were going to go to Angel Island. That was the closest place for them to go. And, of course, the one guy goes, "We found this funny little pouch that had a lot of their possessions, pictures and stuff in it." And then he goes, "Oh, wouldn't you think they'd take that with them? It was important." He goes, "Well, maybe they lost it to make it look like they drowned."
I love that moment because it it finally like someone pointing out to the warden that he's not as smart as he thinks he is.
Yeah.
Like, he's willing just to jump to the first logical conclusion, like, oh, they probably drowned because there's a pouch full of photographs and stuff. But it's like, well, they may have left it behind because, you know, they want to throw you off their trail sort of thing.
Yeah, that's...
Well, the warden's so arrogant that he's like...
And he's very,
there's
anal
no
about
way.
stuff. Like, he wants everything perfect.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny, like, you know, he gets that thing, and you see the flower that Clint Eastwood left him,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just for him.
And he does a big sissy throw
that thing was like that. I'm like, man, that didn't work out for that guy from when they filmed that scene. But the thing was, the assistant warden came up and it was like, if they left last night at 9:30 when lights out, they have a 9-hour head start. I wonder if they made it. They drowned. Yes, sir. But then they do the whole little bit where it says they escaped and nothing was ever found. Can I see your phone again, sir? Yeah. Because I'm going to read some stuff off the aftermath. But like I said, I mean, I didn't go over the plot. There's a lot of plot in this movie, but it's very straightforward. There's not like a lot of hidden messages in this thing. It's just they're setting up to escape from this prison, and there's a lot of very glamorizing of, or sympathizing of the prison characters that are made up, taken from actual prisoners over the years of Alcatraz, for you to feel sympathy for, because it's not. This movie isn't very nuanced. What you looking for?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's not very nuanced in like characters, and it's not supposed to be. It doesn't need to be.
It's a pretty straightforward movie,
Yeah,
just an escape movie.
Yeah.
Well, Frank Morris escaped and later went on to have a son named Zach, who starred in the hit sitcom Saved by the Bell.
Oh my God. Now, before I get into the aftermath, I like to ask you guys, what did you guys think of the movie? I will start with myself just to get it out of the way. I love the movie. I love the story. I like Clint Eastwood as an actor a lot. I mean, I really do love a lot of his stuff.
Even if a lot of times he's just playing the same character.
Yeah, he's playing, but again, so
he's
is
good
everybody.
at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is like Dwayne The Rock Johnson plays the same
Yeah,
character.
like,
Arnold Schwarzenegger plays the same character. He ain't got much like. But yeah, so I love this movie. I definitely recommend this movie. And I'm actually, like I said, I got my girlfriend to watch it. I'm actually going to have another manager at my work watch it for the first time, Sarah. She doesn't really like watching old stuff. She listens to all of our episodes. Hi, Sarah. I'll go with Cody. Cody, what were your thoughts and if you recommend it, sir?
Yeah, overall, it's a really solid movie. It is enjoyable. Like I said, there is that brief moment about 3/4 of the way through where it kind of slows down a little bit, but it's nothing. It's not bad enough to make you want to quit watching it. I would definitely recommend it especially if you love dramas, because it does succeed in that department, and it also does have a lot of tension toward the end, you know, when you're waiting to see if they're actually going to make it.
Okay, good. Do you recommend the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right. I was looking at some Wikipedia, so I missed the last part. All right. Owen, good sir. What did you think?
I recommend this movie because I just think it's a really well put together, simple escape film. It is based on a true story, so that's always a plus. And I like Clint Eastwood pretty much, unless he's like starring in an absolute stinker. I don't know. I like movies where he's in there. Yeah, so I guess I recommend it.
Okay, good deal. Did you guys? I know Cody said that one little stretch was kind of dull, a little bit boring.
Yeah.
But were you guys at all like, for an extended amount of time, just like, would this movie just fucking end? Were you actually interested in it?
No, this was not a Freddy got fingered experience where I'm like, God damn, in this fucking movie.
Hey, look at me, my hooves.
Look at the hooves. Here are my hooves. Listen to my hooves. That's where that fucking movie loses me, and I stop caring.
At that point, really?
Yes.
It wasn't where he cut the fucking deer open and goes, "Oh, so stinky."
No,
I'm stinky.
That's funny, but it's when he's fucking a cartoon. He's like, "Let's listen to my hooves." That's when I'm like, "Shut up."
Cody. So did you find it like? Did you find the movie like? It didn't feel like it was dragging too much though for you.
No, yeah. I mean, it held me. It held me from beginning to end, and like I said, even when it slowed down a little bit, it wasn't like a situation where it's like, oh gosh, I wish this would just end. It's just, you know, watching the movie, you understand why it slows down the way it does, but you're just, I think more so you're just not hoping the movie ends. You're just hoping that it starts to pick back up.
I kept having to rewind the part where Clint Eastwood is naked, though.
All right.
I couldn't get enough, really.
So you had a 4-hour viewing.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ask everybody the question first. I'm going to give you some more aftermath, and then we'll revisit the question. Cody, do you think they made it?
Yeah, I do. Mostly because after watching it, I'd looked up to see if there was any evidence that they made it. I know there are a couple of like supposed sightings or whatever of Morris, and the brothers or whatever, their family had been getting like postcards over the years. Some of them unsigned, some of them signed with their first names or whatever. So, or not their first names, but like I guess aliases or something. So
yeah, Jerry and
Joe.
Yep, Jerry and Joe.
So
okay,
I think they did all make it.
Okay, Owen, sir, do you think they made it?
I mean, I did a little quick glance over the Wikipedia page. I couldn't really tabulate an informed opinion on whether or not.
Yeah, but for shits and giggles.
Okay, for shits and giggles. I mean, the logical side of me just wants to be like, oh no, they probably just died. But then the romantic side of me is like, yeah, they definitely made it, and they have a house in Tijuana, and I don't know.
Okay, I got you, man. All right, real quick. I'll try to get through this pretty quickly for you guys. Like Cody said, occasionally the Anglin brothers would send postcards, supposedly, to the family, especially to their mother, signed Jerry or Joe, or Jerry and Joe. When the mother of the Anglin brothers received flowers anonymously every Mother's Day until her death in 1973, when two very tall, unusual women in heavy makeup were reported to have attended the funeral. Federal officials say that in the mid to late 60s into the 70s, there were 6 or 7 sightings reported of the Anglin brothers, all north of Florida or Georgia. Robert, who was another one of the brothers, because they had 11 siblings. There were 13 kids. Robert said that in '89, when the father of the Anglin brothers died, 2 strangers in beards showed up at the funeral home. According to Robert, they stood in front of the casket looking at the body a few minutes. They wept, then they walked out. So, going to the claims and developments. You've had somebody the day after the escape call a lawyer claiming to be John Anglin, and they just thought it was a prank call, so they didn't follow up on it. They got a postcard, I think, from them saying, "Ha ha, we made it," or some shit like that. Let's see here. That one was kind of debunked.
One of the postcards.
Yeah, that Kelly one's.
Sorry by Buck Cherry.
Yes. A Mythbusters episode done in 2003 tested the feasibility of an escape from the island aboard a raft constructed from the same materials and tools available to the inmates and concluded that it was possible. Quote unquote. Let's see here. The problem was...
Myth busted.
Nut busted.
On the 2011 documentary...
This time on Nutbusters.
The 2011 documentary National Geographic Channel entitled Vanished from Alcatraz reported that contrary to the official FBI report, a raft was discovered on Angel Island on June 12, 1962, the day after the escape. Footprints were allegedly found leading away from the raft. Furthermore, a 1955 blue Chevrolet California license plate that doesn't matter was reported stolen in Marion County the same day, a claim corroborated by contemporaneous stories in the Humboldt Times and San Francisco Examiner. The following day, a motorist in Stockton, California, 80 miles east of San Francisco, reported that he had been forced off the road by 3 men in a blue Chevrolet. Let's see here.
That was them.
Here's the thing, though. There was a picture that was discovered that's allegedly of the Anglin brothers after the escape. They're pictured in Brazil next to a termite mound. and this is where they lived. Like they said that they went down. Some of the locals have said that 2 Americans owned this farm. So that's hopefully they did escape. Let's see here.
Well, what about the mouse?
Yeah, I know. Tell me about the mouse.
The mouse.
Let's see here.
House of Mouse.
He moved into a house and took the name Stewart.
Last name Little.
So let's see. The family cited a story from family friend Fred Brizzi, who grew up with the brothers and claimed to have recognized them in Rio de Janeiro in 1975. They produced photographs purportedly taken by Brizzi, including one of the 2 men, according to Brizzi, were John and Clarence Anglin, standing next to a large termite mound. Other photos showed a Brazilian farm that Brizzi claimed was owned by the men. Forensic experts working for the family confirmed that the photos were taken in 1975 and asserted that the 2 men were more than likely the Anglins, although the age and condition of the photo and the fact that both men were wearing sunglasses hindered efforts to make a definitive determination. Brizzi was also, I think, kind of like full of hot air, a lot of people felt.
Yeah.
He also presented an alternate escape theory. Rather than use the raft to cross the bay, he said, they paddled around the island to the boat dock, where they attached an electrical cord, which was reported missing from the dock on the night of the escape, to the rudder of a prison ferry that departed the island shortly after midnight and were towed behind it to the mainland. Let's see here. Yeah, Brizzi was looked at as, they didn't really believe him. Yada, yada, yada. Now, in 2018, the FBI confirmed the existence of a letter allegedly written by John Anglin and received by the San Francisco Police Department in 2013. He asserted that Clint Eastwood's dead. Clint Eastwood died in 2008 and was buried in Alexandria underneath a different name. And Clarence died in 2011, and that the writer of the letter said he was John, that he was dying of cancer and wanted treatment. So he wanted to exchange turning himself in for a year worth of prison so he could get treatment.
Yeah.
And let's see here. The last thing I got for you guys. In 2019 episode of the series Mission Declassified, investigative journalist Christoph Putzel, I'm not even making up that last name, Putzel, corroborated, fuck me, much of the information released by the FBI and other sources, including the raft found on Angel Island. He quoted various reports mentioning a blue Chevrolet of the same description as the one stolen after the escape, spotted in Oklahoma, Indiana, Ohio, and South Carolina, where 3 months after the escape, 3 men matching the escapee's description attempted to acquire a residence in the woods. So,
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, that's what that movie turned into. So, what do you boys think about that? Cody, does your answer change? You think they survived?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, dude.
No, I think they survived. My answer hasn't changed.
Owen?
Okay, I guess.
Come on. Give me a fucking answer.
There's a
right
good
now,
chance,
I'm pressing you.
There's a chance that they could have survived.
There's also a chance I got my girlfriend off with an orgasm. They say that chance is slim.
Like your penis.
Those chances.
This is more of a serious episode on my part, so I do apologize if it's boring. But yeah, I think I like to think it's kind of like I wish that Bigfoot existed.
Yeah. Well, he does. So.
Okay. Cody, this is a movie where I'm just going to go ahead and just ignore Owen at this point. This is a point where, I would like to believe that it happened. I don't think we ever will know.
No.
I don't think the government, especially, the FBI, would like to say they fucked up and they were covering up something. So I don't think they would admit it. But they did fuck up. They did cover up. They did find evidence that they did make it to Angel Island, but they didn't want to admit that, somebody escaped from Alcatraz. But the thing is, the case is going to be opened. It's not opened by the FBI. It's closed. But the U.S. Marshal Service is going to keep the case open until 2030, when all the prisoners have reached over 100 years old, just to make sure before they close it.
That's usually what they do with escaped people and stuff.
So it's fascinating. I would like to think they escaped. I like to think that Frank Morris, that is his name, right?
Yeah.
I don't
Frank
know.
Drebin.
I've made up that first name. Frank Morris went to Hollywood and ended up having a good career. He made Outlaw Josie Wells a couple years later.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Directed Letters to Iwo Jima.
Oh my God, yeah. He did Heartbreak Ridge, Any Which Way But Loose. Did a lot of movies, man.
So we're glad he escaped from Alcatraz.
We needed Frank Morris. He was the hero we didn't know we needed. But yeah, that was the end of the episode, man. It's a fascinating movie. It holds up well, except for obviously a couple things. But then again, it's prison talk, so I mean, I don't really.
Yeah. It's locker room talk.
You
as
know,
they say.
I think it's very tame for a prison movie. For some of the stuff you just see a bunch of asses and you hear the N-word a couple times.
Yeah, it's not like Andy Dufresne getting raped by the sisters.
Yeah, I wish Andy.
I wish I could tell you that.
Fight.
Yeah, I wish I could tell you Andy fought a good fight and that the sisters left him alone. But prison is no fairy tale.
It's hilarious, that part, man. But yeah, it's that's the end of Escape from Alcatraz, man. They closed that motherfucker down. It's now a sightseeing place.
And then they blew it up.
They blew it up. I want somebody to go sightseeing. Like, can I use your toilet?
Someone just blasted ass in there. They blew it up. Goddamn.
I think they actually have, and this is how funny it is, they actually have it in the cells that the Anglin brothers and Frank Morris were in. They still have, like, duplicate dummy heads laid in the cot to kind of leave it as is. Because it's like funny. The one claim to fame will make money off of it now.
The, like, little vents with the cardboard covers? Or?
I imagine. I don't think they would have repaired that. I don't know that for sure, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely it's a very good movie, and you know, man, just thinking about it, I know there were some production issues between Don Siegel and Clint Eastwood. I didn't really cover that. I was more interested in the actual story that this movie was based off of. But I think they did a real good job, like honoring the events, like listening, because I was cooking at the time. I really wasn't watching the documentaries, but listening to them as they were playing. There was a lot of stuff they got right in the movie, which is kind of unique for a 70s Hollywood movie that wouldn't embellish it. Like, We're going to take Owen's name, and we have the license to his life, but Owen's going to be a helicopter fighter instead of a cashier at Dollar General. And we're going to change all this shit about Owen's life that's not true, but it's based off a true story. That's what Hollywood would do.
It's real.
So
that really happens. That's
when
real
when his girlfriend eventually leaves him in real life just because she finds the love in the arms of another. The movie version's just going to say it was because Owen was too busy. He was too absorbed with his helicopter pilot life.
It was because I was an insane psychopath.
It's because he kept having to go help Gord fly around like a cock.
They're jewels,
with jewels, baby. He had to get
jewels.
He's like, God, he rented me out again. I'll be right back.
They're jewels, Betty.
But yeah, other than that,
jewels, Freddie. Or not Freddie, Gord.
Just think about having sex with you. Or sucking your cock, Freddie.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that's about all I got. Sorry if the episode was kind of boring. It's a very short episode, man. We did like an hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah.
It looks like.
I guess we can talk about the next movie.
Oh, baby, we can talk about anything.
The Schmondering, Part 5.
Is that going to be in like 2 weeks right now?
Yeah. So it comes out on Friday, but we will be recording it the weekend after.
But yeah, so we got The Conjuring. What's it called? The Devil Made Me Poop.
The Devil Made Me Do It.
The Devil Made Me Poop. I'm sorry, Dad.
He just popped out.
Why didn't you flush?
And scared the poop right out of me.
The devil made me come.
He's like, why didn't you just flush? He goes, the devil made me do it.
The devil made me do it.
Oh
no, the devil.
Yeah,
made
I feel
me
like this episode was probably going to be really shitty on my part.
Nah,
That's all right.
It was informative.
Yeah, but I did a lot of ums. I don't know how informative that motherfucker is.
Hey, check this out. Watch this.
So Cody, have you decided? Because like I said, we're doing The Conjuring, and then Owen won't decide until the night of recording that episode.
Yeah.
So do you have any idea, Owen, of what you might suggest? He's got his mouth over the microphone about to eat it.
I don't know. We should watch Full Metal Jacket.
Oh God. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. That's not my choice.
Okay, Owen will make his choice next time we record when he has to make his choice.
Yeah, like I told Alex. I never forget. He was like, I told him what the next 2 movies I had planned. He goes, "Oh, cool. What's Owen gonna pick?" I'm like, "Dude, he's not gonna fucking decide until we get done recording." And it's the same way every fucking. You're like, Freddy got fingered. Fuck,
That's a good ass movie, bro. That movie was good ass shit.
So, did you ever decide what your other movie was gonna be?
Yeah, my next one's gonna be The Greatest Showman.
Okay, good. Thank you for subscribing. Goodbye. Now, any and everyone that's listened this far, I promise I'll do better on the next episode. Please don't stop listening to us.
Please give us money now.
Just hang with us because Cody's movie selections are kind of shitty, and Owen's just on another fucking planet. Other than that, I'll be back in 4 weeks or 4 episodes.
Yeah, Lance will be back with the best movie ever.
Hey,
His movies are always
the
the
movie
greatest.
for the second most listened to episode that we have. Okay.
That's because I shit on that movie while people listen to that.
I picked.
I don't know why they picked that one. I'm like, man, I'm just like dumping on it, literally. I'm like, hey, first line, I go, Owen, hold my pants. I gotta take a shit on this, and that's like literally what I fucking did for that episode.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I tell you one thing, guys. The next movie I'm gonna pick is The Last Jedi.
Is the last?
No, it's gonna be funny. The next 3 movies I have. I'm going to fuck with Owen and make him watch all the new Disney Star Wars movies.
No! I hate those fucking pieces of shit.
I know. I want to see you get riled up.
I'd rather eat a fucking buffalo's ass.
Would you rather eat wolf's ass?
I'd rather lick on a fucking frozen turd.
No,
than
you're
watch
missing
those
the point, man.
fucking
We're talking about
movies.
Wolf from this movie. Would you like to lick his ass?
Yeah. I'd rather fucking drink diarrhea from a skunk's ass than watch this fucking movie.
Okay, revisiting the original scenario, would you fuck Wolf instead of watching these movies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy fucking choice.
Oh gosh, they're not that bad.
Fucking.
I mean, they're kind of middle of the road if you think about it. Even as funny as as broad strokes as Ryan Johnson does, like I'm being, what is it? Subversive. It's like the end result's kind of a middle of the road movie, to be honest with you.
I mean, Rogue One and Solo are great. So.
Oh, I do love Rogue One. I'll cry. Owen doesn't like that movie, but I cry every time I watch that movie. I'm the force that wanders with me.
Every time.
I cry every time.
Lick this
if you like.
Tim.
Yeah, people, lick this podcast if you cry every time listening to it, thinking, "Why did I listen to this?" But yeah, for Cody, for Owen, for the 2 cats in this living room,
One of them meowed.
for Athena, for Stella.
Where'd they go?
I have no idea. For Brittany, for my cat Boo Boo,
Boo Boo.
for myself.
Picnic baskets.
I just like to say, thank you for listening.
I just like
And
to
please.
say, my name is Lance, and I'm here to say, if you like our podcast, please pay.
Yeah, donate to PayPal/Enigmatic Vein. That is the personal PayPal account of this podcast.
No.
No, I don't know what these guys are talking about. That goes directly to our account. It funds everything that we need for this podcast.
Oh, no.
I mean, Cody gets paid a wealthy sum of $100 every time he edits an episode.
Yeah.
So he's not hurting for
He
money.
gets paid with the satisfaction of knowing that a good, honest day's work.
And Owen
Eliminating every time we say or like.
And Owen does absolutely fucking nothing to promote this, but get on here and just have a good time.
I'm going to walk outside and scream, listen
got
to
a podcast!
Moboscopy! Go to www.spotify.com.
I'm like I have like 2 or 3 people like especially my bosses at work. I was a podcast coming. I'm like, it's good. You should listen to it. They don't fucking listen to it.
They suck.
I mean, and Cody, I'll tag Cody on Facebook, like with the new episode. He never shares it, so it's like, what the hell, dude?
See, when I feel,
I guess I go ahead and stop recording.
Enter my
Right about now.
I'm not the one who's so far away.